Thank you, guys. This is really exciting. um, I'm very grateful to the Grinnell College community. This prize is huge, 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 and the honor is incredible, and the impact it will make to the work that we do, I cannot begin to explain. So thank you so much, Grinnell College. In the work that we do across the African continent, one of the biggest goals is to deliver happiness to children, to give children stories in which they can see themselves, in stories which can create happy places in their head. But in the development world, looking for funding, we're asking for funding as against programs that are supporting things like malaria and things like food. So finding people who will believe in the importance of happiness for children and stories that inspire children's imaginations isn't always easy. So to be here in a community like this that understands the impact of the work that we're doing and the importance of it is almost like finding a soulmate or a kindred spirit. And that's always very special. So again, thank you very much, Grinnell. So I work with stories, and I'm a bit of a storyteller. So I'm going to tell a few stories to try and bring home here to Grinnell what it is that millions of African children go through without books. So you can maybe relax and close your eyes and imagine with me a little boy here in Grinnell. And it's his first day of school, so obviously he's excited, or maybe not. And his mom packs him up, packs up his bags, and they get to school. And he's greeted by his teacher and giving a seat. And his teacher puts a book in front of him, and the book is in Ukrainian. And the story is about Ukrainian folklore with Ukrainian food, Ukrainian music, Ukrainian things that this little boy in Grinnell has no idea about, has no way to imagine, no way to understand. He's learning a new language, and he's learning it in a context that he cannot begin to imagine. In many ways, that is the situation for many African children. You can imagine a little girl in rural Ghana, in a place where there's no electricity, so she's never seen a refrigerator before, so has no concept of what ice is. And she's learning to read English, and the first book she has is Snow White. She doesn't understand what snow is, so she'll ask her teacher, "What is this?" Her teacher herself does not understand. So half the lesson is spent trying to explain this foreign context, whereas this is a problem that really shouldn't exist. There's been a book famine across the African continent for several years, and how this problem has been solved traditionally is to collect books from various places and then ship them to Africa. While this is so important, and this is work that I myself have been involved in for a very long time, it's absolutely critical that there's balance and representation. It's not okay that children in some parts of the world wake up, pick up books, and see themselves and their stories and their cultures and their language and their slang and their food represented in it, and children in another part of the world get up, pick up books, and only see other people in it. I grew up in Accra, Ghana, and I absolutely loved to read. I was a little problematic because we'd go to the bookstore, my mom would buy a book, and by the time I got home, I'd be done with it and asking for more. So you can imagine her joy when one day in town she came across a library. There weren't many then. This library meant the world to me. It was a small shipping container. It had been painted blue. It had this small little garden in front and a few bookshelves of books. But to me, it was heaven, because there I could find all of these books, and on the weekend I'd borrow 5-10 books, and I'd hide. We had a table on our veranda, and I'd hide on it. I'd hide under the table, and I'd cover the table with a piece of cloth. So I had my own little reading tent, and nobody could find me. And from under that tent, I would be slaying dragons in Persia and solving mysteries in Connecticut and doing all of these really amazing things from my own head. And it didn't matter all the things that were going on around me. So I had a very beautiful childhood with books, and books changed my life. And I want to give that same experience to other children. When I graduated high school, I was very lucky to get a scholarship to come to the United States. I went to Bryn Mawr College over on the East Coast, and while I was there, my first year, I came across an organization that was shipping books to Ghana to build a library, and I thought, oh my gosh, perfect. I have to get involved. I completely understand this problem. I completely understand the impact. I must get involved. So I connected with the lady running that program and said, how can I help you? She said she needed books, and I thought, okay, perfect. I'm going to find you some books. I thought, okay, I'm in my first year of college. I don't know anybody in this country. How do I find the books I promised to this lady? And I thought, okay, just problem solve, right? So you need books. Where do you find books? Okay, you find books in libraries. Okay, so I'm going to call up all of the libraries in the community and ask if they can donate books. None of them had books to donate. So just as I was about to give up, a mentor mentioned to me that, hey, maybe you should just, have a book drive on campus and faculty and staff may be able to give books. And I thought, oh, that's not such a bad idea. So we organized a book drive and people donated, and that was really the genesis of this work. I collected those books, supported that One First library, and people continued to donate, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, well, if you're going to continue to donate and more people need books, I'm going to continue to do that. Eventually, that became a student organization on campus, and as we were shipping the books one day, I came across one with pictures of a little African girl, and it hit me that of the thousands of books we had shipped, it was the first one that told a story of the people the books were going to. So that was a real wake-up moment for me, and I began to think, is there a way to balance this out? Of course, it's important for children in Africa to read about others in the world, but it's absolutely critical that they be able to see themselves as well in the books that they read. I began to think about it, and I wondered, what can I do? I'm a sophomore in college. How can I solve this thing? Should I even bother to solve this? But I was plagued with a lot of, in some ways, guilt, because it's like, I want to do this the right way, and I wonder if there's really another way. Again, pure problem solving, I thought, okay, we need stories. It's not rocket science to create stories. How do you create stories? Oh, you get people to write. Okay, so I'm going to start a competition, and I'm going to tell people to write stories, and then I'm going to find connections to publishers for them. And that's how Golden Baobab was born. One summer, I went back home, launched this Pan-African Literature Prize, inspiring writers to create stories. The first year was incredibly successful. A number of the stories were picked up for publication, and I thought, oh, I may have chanced onto something, and I've continued that work to this date. This year, we've launched a publishing company that I'm incredibly excited about to turn the stories that we are discovering through our literature prizes into books and other multimedia for children. Through Golden Baobab, we run a number of programs. Our flagship program is our literature prizes. So this is a $20,000 prize for African writers and illustrators. We ask them to create stories that haven't yet been published, and when they send those stories to us, the winners get to win the cash prize, and then we celebrate them and give them a lot of press. We also connect them to opportunities. We have workshops and fellowships that really allow them to be able to hone their craft and take their work to the next level. I think one of the things that really excites me about our work is the fact that if we're scouring an entire continent for the very best talent, and we're taking these stories and we're producing them for children, those stories are stories that are going to last. Those stories are stories that will be read for generations to come. I look forward to a time when you can walk into any bookstore anywhere in the world and find incredible African stories that just create happy places for children in children's minds. I couldn't have done any of this alone. The success that we've seen to date really is a result of the hard work of so many people. In the very early days of this, when I had the idea, I introduced it to my co-founder, Rama Shagaya, who was an alumni of my school, and I said, I'm going to apply for a grant to do this, but they're not just going to give me the money. I have to tell them that I'm working somewhere. Can I say I'm working with you? And she said yes. And so I worked with her, and her guidance and mentorship probably allowed me to escape 3 years of mistakes. Like, I just knew nothing, but she coached me, and we're here today, so I'm very grateful to her. I'm also grateful to the countless of volunteers who believed in this when it was barely a seed of an idea and dedicated their time, their efforts. Our web designer did our website for free, our logo designer did it for free, our judges judge for free, our evaluators evaluate. This was just countless of people all over the world have given their time to bring this work to where we are today. I was extremely grateful for the team that I work with, who don't often get to stand on such a stage and again believe in this work with me and dedicate all of their time to making it possible. I'm grateful for my family, who thought I was a little crazy in the beginning. My dad would often ask me, "You say you're working on this baobab thing. What is it? Is it a tree? Are you a farmer?" I'm like, "No, I'm not a farmer. It's a literature prize." "Oh, you mean it's a tree?" Like, "No, it's not a tree." So very often in the beginning, I seemed a little cuckoo, but I think now, having seen the importance of what we do, having seen the impact, I think they believe along with me that this is something that truly can make a difference. Over the years, I think one of the stories that has really inspired me and continues to make me believe in what we're doing is the story of one of the very first books that was published. It was written by a librarian in a village library, and you have, for the competition, you have to type it up and then submit it by email, but she doesn't have computer literacy skills. So she wrote down the story on paper and she gave it to someone who submitted it, and she was shortlisted for the prize. When she found out that she had been shortlisted for the prize, she just broke down crying, because for many years she's been reading other people's stories to children, and she never thought her story, would be important enough to be recognized. So it really is the dreams of people like this that we are bringing to life. It is the stories of people who love children dearly and who want to join us in creating happy places for them in their minds that we're bringing to life. And Grinnell is joining us in that journey and making that possible in very important ways. And we are very, very grateful, immensely grateful. So thank you so much, Grinnell College.